Okay, welcome to another products and services episode of Inspired Content. This week I will be looking at snack chip varieties that recently came out. I'll try a couple different flavors of different types of snack chips and give my thoughts on them, and then when we come back I'll do sort of ideas and inspirations I get from them. Alright, see you after that. The first thing we're going to be trying is white chocolate Pringles. I don't know how this is, I mean they look like a plain Pringle. There's not much to them, looks like. I was kind of expecting maybe like something visible on the chip. There's really not much flavor to that, but I mean, it's white chocolate. There's a sweeter tone to these chips. And it's not like it's just like a powdered sugar taste. It's almost like a hint of non-dairy creamer or something. But you can't really taste it. The overabundance of flavor on this is just potato. So that's kind of a little bit disappointing. It needs to be, I think part of it is a white chocolate is usually much more of a smooth, creamy texture that you get, and they went, I guess they must have gone like the powdered flavor route with this, because you're not getting a smooth or a creamy texture on any of it. You're just getting a lightly sweet, not quite powdered sugar, but I don't know, that was a bit disappointing. Next we're going to look at milk chocolate Pringles. And I can tell you already, they look more like dirty potato chips than they look like milk chocolate anything. So it looks like they definitely went the powdered flavoring route with this, which is unfortunate because part of the pleasure of a good chocolate is the mouthfeel, I guess. So that's better. That's definitely better than the white chocolate. I mean, you can taste the chocolate to some degree. It's still overwhelmingly potato. It's sort of like a powdered cocoa mix dusted over the chips. I mean, that's... Alright, so third one we're going for here is... I've heard some people say that this is terrible, but I'm curious. Come on, get it. Oh, there's a mess. But, this is salted caramel. And again, it's like you can't really tell that there's anything different about this chip. And it looks like they again went with that powdered flavoring route, which hasn't worked well for the first two here, so. I actually kind of like that one. That's one of those flavors. It's still very much a potato chip, but like a salted caramel, it would be very easy to overdo that. Alright, next on the list, the tortilla cinnamon sugar. Now these are vastly different in appearance, mainly because of the tortilla portion of it. This is in fact a coarse corn chip. It's not a very thin potato flour that they use. This is a corn chip, a real hearty, grainy corn chip. And if you can kind of see it, I think, this has got cinnamon sugar on it. Now, that's the way you do a chip. It's got the light sweet of the sugar, but definitely taste the presence of the cinnamon. And the hearty crunch of the corn gives it substance when you're eating it. So it's not like a light wisp of flavored wafer or whatever. But yeah, I could eat a whole can of these in about one sitting. I do like these. Alright, and for the last one, we have Cheetos Sweetos, which is another cinnamon sugar taste. These guys are little O's covered in cinnamon sugar. I've had these as well, but ooh. Yeah, that first taste is like, it's not even real butter, I don't think. I would almost call it like an overwhelming taste of margarine or something. It's really slightly off-putting for your first bite. But the cinnamon sugar flavor is good enough that you like the flavor. It's one of those things where, like, you don't say it's the best thing you ever had, but you would unconsciously eat a whole bag if it's left open in front of you. And the other thing about this is the light puff of it is, I mean, that's just an enjoyable way to eat something like a cinnamon sugar flavor. I should probably try some more just to make sure it's okay. The dessert flavored Pringles and other chips, I guess we are going to include the Cheetos in with that one. Kind of hit or miss for some of them on me. So I'll quickly go through what I wanted to rate those each. Was the white chocolate, I'm going to give a 1.2 out of a 3.7. That was just, I might as well just eat a regular plain chip. It's not sweet enough to really classify as anything other than just a regular chip. I could eat plain Pringles and get the same experience and not notice I'm getting anything different. The milk chocolate, I'd give about a 4.6 out of a 6.2. There's a definite inclination to believe that you have something different, but again, with these two, the powdered flavoring approach, it's done wrong. I would say if it was to be done in a way that makes sense, there's got to be a way to use like you've got a uniform shape. You should be able to make like a stencil and just spray a thin coat of real chocolate on it. Because you need that smooth, creamy texture to it. And you're not getting it with that powder. But I will say, for the caramel one, I'm going to give it a 5.3 out of a 6.5. It was better than the other two. I think it still kind of falls short. It's not where I was looking for the flavor to come through, but it is there and it's not unpleasant, so it's something I could probably enjoy. Now the one I think that really goes really well was the cinnamon sugar tortilla. I mean, the tortilla chip alone. Pringles, you should have been doing this years ago. That hearty crunch to the chip is perfect. And then the cinnamon sugar on top of that, giving it like that churro cinnamon sugar, oh, that was good. I gave it a 6.7 out of a 7.1. But on the same vein, we have the cinnamon sugar Cheeto. You give it a 5.7 out of a 7.2, mainly because you get that first kind of swat from that vegetable oil or whatever they use for the imitation butter, and it's so overpowering that it kind of like, it could be off-putting if the rest of it weren't addictive enough to go back for more. So I mean, those would be where I rate those right now. I really do think if you want to do a chocolate chip, if you want to do a chocolate coated chip or a chocolate flavored potato chip, or crisp, I guess, if you're not from the US, then don't powder it. Don't cover it in some imitation flavor powder. I mean, you have the opportunity even, like for, like I said, the stencil, where you could just put a snowflake on it. Do a pattern on it. I mean, you could also flavor whatever paste dough you use to make the chip, but I think the creaminess and the smoothness of a chocolate would be something you have to kind of put onto the chip, not into the chip, or dust it. It ruins it, I think, for part of that. But having said all of that for those, I do have some ideas of future flavors. If anybody bothers listening, maybe somebody could try some of these flavors. So I'm going to start with a caramel apple. I mean, the salted caramel was okay by itself, but if you had some of that like apple flavoring and you put that caramel in there, oh man, that would be totally a unique and worthwhile chip to try. How about I don't know if it's a different brand or company or what, but I mean, you could probably do a knockoff, but like an Oreo chip. I mean, the wafer on the outside of the Oreo, the chocolate wafer, you could make a chip like that, like a Pringles chip in a can, and you can dust it with the powder to be similar to the cream on the inside of them. I mean, that would be, I bet you'd get a lot of people who'd be a fan of that. Since we're talking about the Oreo cookie portion, there's a type of pie that uses a crust made from Oreo cookie wafers called grasshopper pie. It's that crust with a creme de menthe kind of custard or mousse almost in the middle, and sort of like a marshmallow meringue up top. And it is one of the best pies ever. And if you could pull off a grasshopper pie Pringle, that would be amazing. Since we're talking cookies, a ginger snap. A ginger snap Pringle. I mean, I don't have to say anything more. Ginger snap Pringle. You could do something like a mint chocolate chip, where if you could get the mint right for the grasshopper pie, I can see doing like a mint Pringle and then doing dots of real chocolate on it in some sort of pattern, so that you get like a mint chocolate chip. Oh man, that would be, it might be alright. Since we're going to go with ice cream flavors, how about a Neapolitan? I don't know if you want to do like one chip where it's different ends are, you have vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate on one chip, or if you want to do strawberry, chocolate, and vanilla chips all in the same can. I kind of like the different chips in the same can. Alright, well, that's some of the ideas that I got from playing around with these flavors. Hopefully there was something inspiring or interesting there for you, and I'll see you for the next video.